when he turned around. I was like that slow motion. I was like, whoa, okay. I felt like
This guy went, oh, okay.
I felt, I was feeling the emotions, bro. Like I had just been shot myself, and I didn't know where I was. I
Oh my
was
God.
like,
You want to do it again? You want to do that dance move again, Lewis? Want to do it again?
Welcome to another week of Panel and Frames, where we talk about the latest manga and anime. Last week we brought to you like what our thoughts on the latest Jujutsu Kaisen chapter and Chainsaw Man. But this time we're going to do something a bit different and start with two new anime series that have started. Well, they're not quite new episodes, new season of animes. They're season twos of existing animes.
Yeah.
We're going to start with Tokyo Revengers, and then we'll move on to Vinland Saga. The long-awaited Vinland Saga season 2. Mappa are doing it, man. So I'm gassed to see what your thoughts on what you thought about their take on it. To start, we're going to start with Tokyo Avengers. Obviously, we're all being quite big fans of the manga, so it's interesting. It's interesting to see that we're finally here at the Christmas Showdown arc. It's been what, a year and a half now since season 1 came out.
Yeah.
it's been a while.
So what's interesting with this episode is it's episode 1 of season 2, but it's also episode 25 of the whole thing. So it starts off with Takemichi's been captured by Kisaki. Got a gun to his head. He's just obviously ganked Chifuyu. That's what he did, bro. Is that what he did last season? He just
He finished him. He finished him.
So obviously the episode,
we don't promote violence. We don't promote violence.
Yeah. No. We wasn't laughing at his
It's
death.
anime and manga, innit? Anime and manga. Anime and manga. It's not real.
Chifuyu, Thousand Winters, rest his soul in it. So obviously the anime starts with that's his name, isn't it? Obviously the anime starts with that back and forth, which is really intense, and then Takemichi gets rescued by obviously Kazutara. And then he drives, and then he reveals to him like, oh, his plan and what's happening, how time has changed since since Baji's death and since Kazutara came out of prison. So I just wanted to get, what did you guys think of the first episode?
I feel it was good. Even though it is, as you said, is basically a continuation of where it ended. So of the first season, and I like that. I like that there wasn't no and this is what the recap is of season 1. Nice. This is where we're at. Boom. Gun to Takemichi said that's basically where we ended the last one. Yeah. We're here is intense. And that feeling of intent, the intensity of those first couple minutes, definitely like it was there for me. It was definitely there. Like all of that stuff, the way Takemichi was feeling throughout the episode, even when he saw Baji. Well, it's been a while. I'm not gonna lie, like I remember the thing like it's the back of my head. It's been a while since I've seen it. Yeah. So even that bit where he saw Kazutora and he thought it was Baji, I was there thinking, is that Baji as well? So yeah, I liked it. So overall pretty much.
But just to interject before we go to Lewis, I just think that initial shot with Kazutora, just when he turned around, I just think it wasn't as impactful as it was in the manga. Obviously, yeah, it was interesting to see it in color, how and fully animated, but it felt like it didn't really have the same, like, oh damn, it's Kazutora in the future, he's out of prison. It's like, yeah, I don't know, it just didn't feel as impactful. And maybe I'm being a bit biased because I'm a manga purist, but Lewis, I don't know, what's your thoughts?
Well, for me, from like I agree with Phil. It's like from the end of season 1, when you see him get shot and it cuts to black, I was thinking, what the heck? Like, is my man dead? Is this it? Like, I've enjoyed this so much. And obviously, I've read the manga, so I know what happened in this episode. So it was good to see this episode in motion rather than obviously seeing the manga. And I agreed. When he turned around, I was like, that slow motion. I was like, whoa, okay. I felt like
This guy went, oh, okay.
I was feeling the emotions, bro. Like I had just been shot myself, and I didn't know where I was.
Oh my God. You want to do it again? You want to do that dance move again, Lewis? Want to do it again?
Go on, do that again, bro.
No, it's right. Continue. Go on.
But yeah. No, I enjoyed this episode. I feel like it was a real good continuation from season 1. And like Phil said, it went straight into it. None of this business of ratata is straight in.
And
Full on emotion.
I feel like, yeah, so obviously they covered episodes or chapters 74 to 77. I mean,
I'm just going to ask you that, actually.
Yeah, so they finished in the middle of 77. And obviously I think that cliffhanger works for the anime, but I just felt like the manga, obviously, yes, two different mediums, I understand that. I felt like it just felt a bit weird reading the manga that we didn't have that much to next week to see this. But
that works for the story, though.
Yeah, I know.
The story. You have to remember is obviously, as you said, it's a different medium, right? And you gotta make it cover enough. You gotta cover enough of the media anyway, right? Of the content anyway, yeah. And then you've got to leave it in a space where once you've seen that episode, you're like, okay, I want to watch the next episode now. And I feel like it ends at a place where you're like, okay, I really want to watch the next episode. Because as we've all read it, we all know what's gonna happen. But in terms of the next one.
I totally hear that, yeah. But I just felt like, yeah, it just felt weird cutting there. But I guess if I didn't read the manga, I would think it ended in a good place, to be honest.
But I think that's the thing with anime. It's like there is a fan group which just watches anime. They don't even listen. So there's a group of people that read and watch. There's the people that watch and there's the people that read. So I feel like how they're doing it is with that TV mind of like Phil said, what's next? Like we now want to watch again. Oh, who's this guy? Let's find out. Like, right, he's back now. He's found out all this shit. Oh, my bad. With all this information that's going on, he wants to get on with it, and I feel like that's at the point where, like, okay, we're back in the past again. Let's go.
Yeah, definitely. So Eugene, though, right? Because you said that you was reading the manga. Wow, but you read the manga first, and you watched the episode. Yeah. Is there anything else that is kind of like different? Has a change or?
Funny you should ask. So
funny I should ask. Really funny I should ask.
Well, yeah, no, because I was just going to come on to that point because there were a few scenes that that they added a bit of extra oomph to the episode over the manga, like when Kazutora is driving Takemichi, talks, Ine gets a phone call, said, "Oh yeah, Pochin and Peiyan are dead." Then you see the shot of them dead. I mean, yeah, it's a quick scene, it's a quick thing where it adds that impact to show how they also got ganked in it. They got like no, but they got like obviously in the manga he just says, "Oh yeah, they're dead." Or Mitsuya's gone missing. But when they showed like Pachin and Peiyan, yeah, and you show how many bullet holes were in them, you're like sucking at them. He doesn't mess up.
He's not playing around. He's like, yo, two to the head to make sure they're dead.
Don't mess around with this guy. This guy's like, I don't care if you're Toman founding members or whoever. You mess with me, you got 20 bullets. They were on top of each other with 20 bullets in them. So obviously I felt like, that was one of the things that I think added a bit more extra to the anime over the manga, and I enjoy that scene. But what I will say though, there were a few scenes that I didn't enjoy because I just felt like they didn't have the same impact. Like, the bit where Takemichi realized that he ordered a hit on Hina, and he's on the floor and he said, "I killed Hina." In the manga, it's a nice wide shot, and it's just really impactful. One shot, bang, done. Yeah, but the anime has to pan up, and then you go to he's close. I'm like, oh god, that is.
I feel like you need that motion.
You need it, man. You need it.
I don't know, man. It was a shot from behind him first, then it went to the front, and it panned up. It just didn't work, man.
But I feel like maybe if they did that wide shot in the anime, you might go, "Oh, that's boring." You want that movement.
He didn't even say much. Nah, I'm sorry. I just didn't agree with it. But I mean, the animation overall, personally, I mean, I wasn't too much of a fan of the last season's animation, and I'm not really that much of a fan. It's not bad, but it's not like amazing. I
think it's a little bit better. I think it's a small piece better. Maybe I'm how can I say it? I want to say the animation, but I also want to say is maybe just the artwork that's maybe a bit sharper in certain scenes that I'm liking more than the previous season. But I'm liking this one. I'm liking art and animation.
I think the only bit that's weak for me is when you cut to seeing the traffic of the cars. You know, when you see the traffic, that to me is a bit weak.
What the traffic? All right.
The traffic, all right, cool.
All right.
But you know, but it doesn't add or take away
on the table as well.
I know, man. Those trees in the background look
saying,
terrible, bro. The wrong shade of blue.
But then why cut to it? You know, they are cutting to it for a reason to see.
But they're in traffic, innit?
The reason, no, exactly. That shot is there to make you feel like, oh, they're in traffic. That's why they've got long enough to have a conversation. But when they cut outside, the animation is not as good as when they cut back in.
I hear that.
But in honesty, if I'm an animation studio, that traffic is just getting a shot from like a past.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
That's getting shot.
100%.
Yeah. But can I say one thing though? What I did love about the episode, was Bad Takemichi's voice acting. That was
come on.
Serious.
Sick.
He's a serious guy, bro.
Come on.
He's like,
on job.
And he's like, don't mess with me, bro. But and you know one thing I will say though that I think I do want to see. I know we've read the manga, but what I love to see, obviously so far we've only ever seen Takemichi as the time travel Takemichi. We've not seen him as the actual, like when he goes back to the past, back to his present day. We don't see what he's like, and I think that was interesting seeing that take because we saw like a dark,
basically the autopilot version of him.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was interesting to finally see what he's actually like, and that was
he's good.
But so final thoughts on the first episode. What score would you like to give it, Phil?
8.5. 8.5. It does what it needs to do. I feel like the animation and art is a little bit better than the previous season, and not wasted no time, go straight in, and it does exactly what it needs to do. 8.5, that's me. Next,
7.5. I feel like it's a great continuation from season 1, but it's still a little bit of a lot more talking because they're in the cars, a lot of talking. But man, I love Tokyo Revengers, so it's only going to go up from here.
No, I will give it a 6.5. Like,
I'm the guy that's loving it.
Look. So the title's called "It Is What It Is," and I think that did some of the episode. It is what it is because, the Takemichi's woken up. Well, no, sorry, Takemichi's been rescued by Kazutora, and now he's been put in a situation where this is what's happening, and at the moment, this is it. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. So now he's got to go back to change that. You know what I mean? And I do think, like, don't get me wrong. So the anime did a good job at transferring the manga panels into the frames. You see what I did there? Transfer. But I just think that the actual animation wasn't that great. And I just do like it wasn't bad, but I feel like some of the standard of anime we see now, I don't think it was as good as. And last season was the first season, so I didn't mind it being a bit, you know what I mean. But I just felt like season 2, come on, throw the butt.
Let me ask you this. Go on, Phil.
No, I was gonna say I hear you, but then like not every anime has to be top tier animation. Like not everything is Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, Fate Stay Night. Like not everything has to be that top tier. Like some
I think it does
need to be that good. It's like okay.
After a year and a half wait, we waited a year and a half. It's on Disney Plus, bro.
But let me ask you this, From what happened in this episode, what could they have done to make it that top tier? Because not really that much went on, really.
There was a fight scene where Kazutora beat up Takemichi. There was a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah, but that's so small.
No. The small man was on the other side of the river. This thing getting kicked in.
and also, the bit where they shook hands, and he went back to the past. Yeah. That could have been done like that. That could have been like, damn, you know what I mean? That could have blown us away, bro. I know it's a short.
I hear that, but
I just felt like it was just some things were just a bit
I
not
feel like
as.
you're nitpicking here, mate.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just
I feel
saying.
like you're nitpicking.
I don't think everything was as, you know, as top tier. Like, look, I love Tokyo Revengers. Don't get me wrong, yeah, but I just feel like after a year and whatever long wait, yeah, felt like the animation could be a little bit better. I just do hope when we do get to like some of the big scenes, hopefully, you know, having that Bleach level of animation. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna say
you
I'm
can't
gonna
I
do
knew
say
that,
you
bro.
was.
I
I knew
don't
you
think you can do
was.
that.
I knew
I
you
don't
was.
think you can do that. Bleach is like a
say,
movie.
why can't Tokyo Revengers like a movie? The story's a movie, so you
That's
Nah,
know
true.
what?
The story is a movie, man.
The
exactly.
story is a movie, but Bleach, the way the animation is shot in Bleach is like it's a movie.
Yeah.
But
Why
hey,
can't we
it
have
is
Tokyo
what it is.
Revengers then? But yeah. Um, so that's our, you know, that's our thoughts. You guys gave it what, 7 each? So was it 7.5 you
No,
gave it
I
for?
gave I gave it
I
eight
give
point
it
five.
Oh,
7.5.
sorry. You know, I wasn't
I
even
gave it
trying
eight point
to.
five.
I
You're
thought
hating. You're hating.
no, I
You're
thought
hating.
by what
You're hating.
I thought by the way he was talking it was a 7, but all right,
Oh,
cool.
okay.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
But no, it's an 8 from you guys. And you know what? Okay, it's just good to have the Christmas Sheldon arc finally be animated. So hopefully, you know, we get some slicker animation, and it's just going to be enjoyable to watch. And like your guys'
Yeah,
final
definitely,
thoughts, yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Finally, we're here after waiting for so long. Vinland Saga season 2 is finally here. Obviously, which studio did the first season? Which was obviously a masterclass in like animation, storytelling, you know, a great way to do the prologue. So now
Oh, wow.
obviously well, that's a different
Wow.
podcast. But Mappa are now back, and well, Mappa are now doing Vinland this season, and obviously we know Mappa are like sick at you know Attack on
Yeah,
Titan, Jujutsu
they're
Kaisen.
great.
They're sick. So obviously, if you just to catch people up, this episode starts. It's called Slave, and it starts obviously a couple of years after the incident between King Canute.
A couple, a good few years, mate.
It's quite a few years. Yeah. I mean, a couple. I'm
It's
not
a
saying
good
like
few years.
it's not like 10
Couple,
years,
bro.
but
But it's a good few though. Thorfinn
yeah,
was
yeah,
a
yeah.
youngin. My man looks like he's, you know what I mean? He's aged a bit,
He's
you know?
yeah, he's got a stubble now and then, but he was like
Exactly.
yeah. But yeah, so now we come in and we meet one of the new protagonists, Einar,
Mhm.
who's from North England. And yeah, so now it's all about him meeting Thorfinn, and as they continue the adventure for this new arc. What I will say though, and I know this is gonna piss you guys off probably a little bit.
Go on.
Reading the manga, I'm no wait. There was so many differences from the anime and the manga. So you know the
Okay.
start of the episode where it shows Enar's family, Enar's family.
Yeah.
The chapter called Slave, chapter 54, does starts at the boat. It just starts at the boat. So two things here. It's cool that they've you know given us a bit of a backstory straight away, or because in the manga you're like, who's this random guy in it, and then later on it comes up. But they've given us a bit of backstory straight away, which is cool, and given us, you know, his mom and sister both get killed. He gets put into slavery, and then we have that little him and his why he's sad about losing his family or because of his family, and then the good life he had before, and then now he gets sold into slavery and he's on the boat, and then we go from there. But I do feel the episode did cut a lot of the conversations out, like when he gets to Kentil's farm and Kentil's talking about the farm and all this, why he's at the farm. I felt like they not rushed it, but yeah, they did rush it because I think they're trying to put a whole chapter in one episode. You know what I mean? And I feel like just even like when Aina was getting sold for slavery, when he was getting checked and stuff, there's always a bit of funny scenes where he gets like groped and he's like, what the hell? They cut all of those out. You know what I mean? They had one scene where he touched his chest, but in the manga there's a lot more of it. It's not funny, but it shows like kind of like the darkness of their situation.
The full process.
Exactly. And I felt like you lost that in this a little bit. Maybe it's sugarcoated a little bit because some animes I've watched in the past, they have made stuff look a lot less darker just because it's for a different audience. But let's go to Lewis first, only because Lewis is new to Vinland and you've not read the manga, so it'll be good to hear what you thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just off the back of season one. I've just finished season one just before the start of season two, and I loved season one. I absolutely loved it, and I feel like the start of this one, I was like, okay, I'm ready for the new season, and I was Aina. I was like, oh, okay, I'm learning about this new guy. Obviously, I'm like, where are my friends? Where are the guys I know? You know, Thorfinn, where's my man? I was getting a bit worried. I was thinking, is this just about a whole new story? Because I'm coming in this completely. I sat down. I was like,
Yeah, go
all
on, keep
right,
going.
let me just ride this out. And then I'm seeing like obviously his family get taken out or whatnot. And I was thinking, and you get to see he's a bit of a soft guy at the moment. You know, he could have really like his mum said run, he didn't run with his sister. You
If
know,
your mom said run, would you run?
but bro, I don't know.
It's a
I
bit
don't know.
sticky
But
still,
anyway,
like.
and then you know,
You can't say
you
he's
know,
soft,
and then
man. Come
no, but
on.
then he gets gripped up. His sister gets taken
Yeah,
out. He just
that's
get
not.
gripped up like this, and he's
We
just
don't condone violence, by the way. Though. We don't condone
no
Anyway,
violence.
violence, no.
carry on.
But anyway, and then I'm like, where's Thorfinn? I'm still like, where's my man? Yeah. And then we get to the bit where he's getting sold off. Yeah, so and I'm like, okay. And then he gets hencher. I'm like, okay, some prospects in this guy. And then when I see is it Leif? The old
Yeah,
guy?
life.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we're gonna see Thorfinn soon. it just brought something in me, like, okay, we're gonna see Thorfinn. And then when we get to see Thorfinn, I was extremely happy to see my man. As
Okay,
much
but
as he
then
looks go on.
I was gonna say, right? How do you feel about the build up towards that point?
I think it's good because you get to learn more about uh Aina. I
But
feel
did you
like
care? Did you care though
no, I
about him?
did. No, I did. Obviously, I want to see Thorfinn, but I feel like by the time I got to the farm, I felt this guy's pain more because obviously he's standing there waiting to get bought and no one wants him. And he's lost all his family. It's like that's pretty deep.
But
So
can I
by
ask
the
you though?
time you
Okay.
get go on.
I was gonna say, obviously, after watching season one and you see how season one ended, do you not feel like just like what, who, like, come on, man, just
Who's this
No, but
Johnny?
I
in
just
it. Why do
no,
why do
no,
you
that's what
care?
that's
Why
no,
do
but
you
that's what
care
I
about
was
this
saying. That's
random
what I was
guy?
saying. I was missing my friends, yeah, because the end of season one was so emotional that it felt like, okay, is this just a whole new person? Am I having to forget the people I've built all these emotions for?
And also, can I just say, do you know, like, obviously, life when he came looking for Thorfinn, yeah, do you not feel sad for him that he's been searching for him
Yeah,
all these
For
years? He's an
bare
old
long.
man, bro. He's an old
no, but
man now.
I know, but he was looking for him beforehand.
But this is it. You saw him once, and you saw him once, and you didn't see him all these years. You were looking for him, yeah. And I think I'll just say, just a sad thing for me is how much Thorfinn's lost. I know, and how like the end shot of Thorfinn was obviously amazing. You saw how depressed he was, and just
Big time.
you know what I mean. He knows he's a murderer from being in war. You know he couldn't avenge his dad. The guy he wanted to kill has been killed by someone else. By that long-haired canoe. He's like, you know what I mean. And now you're working on the farm, bro, and in the middle of nowhere. And obviously this is like obviously not today where you can just if you're sold off and you can't just travel back home like that. You know what I mean? So.
But I feel like he's
It's like
lost his purpose anyway, though. It's like,
I was just about to say that. It was like his life is gone, done a whole 360. He hasn't got no real meaning to what he's doing now. From the anime, anyway. I've read the manga, so I know what's going on. But it's still, even when I was reading the manga from just the first time, and this became up, I was like, yo, what the hell? This ain't my man. This is someone else now. Like this, when you see someone and they're just a broken shell of themselves. Yeah. Like you wouldn't envision Thorfinn to be this guy that he's portrayed to be in the anime. But hey, he's there.
And in terms of like, so like obviously, Phil, you've read the manga, haven't you?
Yeah.
In terms of the anime's kind of like way of storytelling, how do you feel 'Cause it did differ quite a bit to the manga. What did you think of that, or were you not bothered?
Because it's been so long since I've actually read these chapters from the manga. I, from what you're saying, the differences were I actually couldn't even remember those differences. But if I'm just taking it as a okay, I've been waiting for this for a very long time, right? I do remember these characters that they're introducing. I can't remember how they were introduced, but I don't mind it, right? Because I'm thinking because now you reminded me that it didn't start this way. Like the start of the anime wasn't like how it's meant to correlate from the manga. And through a storytelling aspect, I feel like it maybe works a little bit better just for understanding. Because you said that it starts with a random boat with this guy. Like then you're reading it and you're like, wait, who the hell is this Donnie? It doesn't make sense. But then
But
also with that, go on.
but what I was gonna say in the manga, there is his narration. So it's not it does start a random ship, but his narration is there. And because obviously if a character is narrating in manga or in even comics, you know they've got purpose.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously I was like, yeah, who's this guy? Obviously, but I just felt like maybe I just felt like yeah, it's good. Okay, I'm in two Michael. It's good. Yes, they gave us the backstory. Just get it there and done. Let's get it out of the way. But then I feel like the mystery could have still been there. Like, who is this guy? What's going on? He meets Thorfinn, and then as we continue, we get to know a bit more about him. And I felt like they're just giving us it all on a plate. I mean, I don't know. Like, what do you think? Like,
With that, I feel like if that was the case, it would have been more like, okay, who is this guy? Why is this person getting so much screen time? We would end up thinking that until it got to the basically the end where he meets Thorfinn, right? We would have thought that this is just a filler episode. Who is this guy? What's going on? Don't know who this is. We have no emotional attachment to this dude, but we're just showing a lot of random stuff about his life and different aspects of his life. So we become kind of attached to him. But in a general perspective of the whole story, we think, who the hell is this guy? I don't care. Like, I can imagine some people that were maybe like us that have read the manga, but it's been such a long time, they might have just skipped through it. They might have just skipped through it to see, okay, who is this person? Yeah, what happens at the end, and then go back and rewatch it to say, okay, I'm invested now, so I'm going to watch the whole thing.
I do think though, because obviously it's been like what 2 years now since season one ended. I do think that's why they kind of added that in just to be like, you know what? Obviously, we want people to like, come in and still be like interested. So let's start in a quite a brutal way that carries on from the kind of brutality of the first season, if you know what I mean. And let's keep it going to keep people, especially the hook to keep people in, rather than starting on the boat. Because obviously, you know, it has the message on the first page where it says that whatever it said, and then like, but then it goes to the boat and they throws the girl off the boat. But even that, when he throws the girl off the boat, I think that's quite impactful anyway. And they're like, oh yeah, just be sick. We want you to be sick, blah blah blah, and all of that. But moving on, what did you guys think of the animation?
I thought the animation was good. The animation was good. It does the job. I feel like it is so far is on the same level as the first season. Maybe Lewis could talk about that a bit more because it's just literally come from watching the first season.
Yeah, it's very much Vinland style. You know, they've not gone far off it. Obviously, this is the first episode, so it might change as episodes come out. But for now, it's very Vinland. I like it.
All I will say is that Einar, he was drawn differently at the end of Wit's version. He was though, and now he's drawn a bit differently now. That's all I'll say. But other than that,
random, right? There's one shot in the anime, right, and it looks shit. I'm gonna point out, okay? One shot and he looks shit is when the guy's coming to buy him and it's like a wide shot of Einar and the guy that buys him, right? And it's just there, they're standing. It's drawn terribly. I'm just putting it out there. When you go back and you watch it, you'll see it's pretty big. But anyway, continue.
I think that look, there was a lot of things. Like even so, the first guy that checks him out. The first guy that kind of checks him out, yeah, it's different to the guy who's in the manga who's drawn completely differently. So there's just little things like that. Like obviously, they're not big deal because those aren't like important characters. But I just feel like because what I don't want is like Promised Neverland and some other animes that just do their own thing, and you're like, we're not in that like mid 2000s, early 2000s era where anime just do what they wanted, and then they'd forget the manga. Like now, yeah, I think manga and anime needs to be an exact representation of each other.
I wouldn't say exact representations need to be a thing. I'd say there needs to be like at least a 95% representation of the manga and the anime. And that 5% deviation can just be in terms of storytelling. And I don't mind that at all. Like not necessarily when I say in terms of storytelling, I'm talking about maybe it didn't make sense or it couldn't come across properly through the manga. So they've maybe adapted it a little bit in the anime so it makes more sense story-wise.
Not to add like these little things in every now and then. We don't need them. The anime's sick in it. The manga's sick as it is. The original like
the original materials does the job.
So Phil, what score would you give it?
Come back to me, Lewis.
I think I'll give it a 7 as well. I think it's a good introduction to Aina, and I got to see Thorfinn at the end, so I was happy. But I need another episode for it to, we're not at any kind of stage of excitement yet. It's just kind of just an introduction.
And can I ask you quickly, as obviously you're new to this, what do you want from this season? Like, what are you expecting?
I already know you know. I already know you know.
Answer.
I don't know what you're expecting. Like, what do you want? Do you want more violence? Do you want more? What do you want?
Of course. I want vengeance.
Of course, he's gonna want more violence.
I want adventure. I want to see what level Thorfinn can get now. He's got a beard. Like he's got some, a little bit of something going on. Like he's older now.
Yeah.
And he's been chopping logs.
Yeah, so
he must be mad strong.
Yeah.
Must be mad strong. I hear you. I'll give it a 7.5. I'll give it 7.5. I had to think about it because I didn't wanna rate it by like what I've already read and how I know the story's gonna go. And I'm just rating it on what it is and how it goes in terms of story, right? And how like things maybe will or will not make sense to people watching it. So I'm saying it's a 7.5.
So we hope you enjoyed listening to our first anime version of a Panama Frames podcast. Like, subscribe, and comment, share your thoughts with us. We'd love to hear what you think. And next time we're going to be talking about the next chapters of Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man.